Aggie.
Who the fuck are you? You nothing. You nothing. You are nothing. And you will never be anything. Never.
Colin.
Anybody know who you are? You miserable, presumptuous, no talent. You obviously don't have the talent.
And Mike, the ape man.
You are everything that's gone wrong in this world. You are self-consumed, no talent, mediocre piece of shit.
PTR Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. A couple minutes late because Windows sucks. You know, if it wasn't such a pain in the butt, we would run Linux. But everything we need isn't on it. You know, just port everything to Linux, then we'll use it. All right. Just make it so that we can run everything there, and we'll think about it.
Listen, do not try and convince us to run a Mac, because that's even worse.
I got one. It's sitting right there, but I'm not going to use it for an everyday driver.
I have a Mac too, but it's in the fridge for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's big.
So, you know, Macs are fine, and as I work with more and more consultants, I see them everywhere. It's really weird. People are using Macs for almost everything, things that they definitely shouldn't be. Development. People are using Macs for development. Why? There's perfectly good
Visual
Windows.
Studio.
There's perfectly good Windows machines that are better. You should use those. You know, I don't know what your problem is. You know. What's the matter, Mike?
Well, I was listening in, and I'm getting text messages from.
Is it somebody else saying thank you for your AT&T payment as a loyal customer? Click this link to get your free gift.
No,
I get lots of those.
So.
Yeah, me too.
No, it's not. I get a lot of those as well, and it's not me. I can promise you that. That's about all I can promise you. It's not me texting you guys telling you, hey, guess what? You won. No, it's something. It's something I signed up for through my health insurance. It's like a biometric physical therapist thing called Hinge, and you tell them where it hurts, and they tell you where to put the two like Wii sensor type things, and it shows you the movements you got to do, and it's supposed to help. You know, it's supposedly going to help my knees feel better. We'll see if it works. Didn't cost me anything, so the hell, we'll give it a shot.
Really? Huh.
But of course, they text me while I'm listening to the Facebook stream to see how we're coming through. So of course that I'm getting ya ding dong in my ear as loud as possible. So yes, that's right. I may be the last person. I still have ya ding dong as my my text notification.
That's okay. You know, that's all right. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with Yaya Ding Dong. So, okay. The toy should be up for Mike. He should be able to see your wonderful messages in. And, you know, I'm going to start working on a way where Mike can see the text messages if you text 217-787-0232. Yes. Yes, I'm going to make a way that you can see the text messages.
You're going to break something doing it. I know you are.
Well, see. What?
Wait.
Go ahead, Colin.
That has to be the first time that phone number's done anything in years.
Well, you know, it all started it was Thursday before last. The phone provider, actually, that I know it's amazing we didn't notice, but our telephone number went down for a while. Went down for a week. I mean, and nobody complained.
Is this related to that thing that Nate Dogg was posting up on Facebook about? I saw he was arguing with somebody.
Yeah, probably. I wasn't arguing. I was trying to not argue with people, which is as difficult as arguing.
In fairness, he wasn't arguing, but it was more like Yeah. Okay, you're commenting on the trouble. When are you going to take the time to respond to the 17 level 3 tickets that we have open with you, or something like that? I'm like,
Yeah.
thank God that's not who I work for, because...
Yeah, so there's a provider out there, and you know, let me preface this by saying this could happen to anybody, all right? It just so happened to this company. So VoIP MS, who is a fairly major voice over IP telephone provider, was the target of a pretty vicious cyber attack starting Thursday before last. And from what I can gather from both personal experience and from listening to stories from other customers, the phase of the attack kind of went like this. They downed one server, the attackers downed one server, then sent them basically a blackmail email saying, listen, we did this to your one server. Pay us a Bitcoin or we will do it to all of your servers. Now, a Bitcoin, I don't know what the current exchange rate is, but
hold on.
Yeah.
No, you keep going with your story. I will find it.
So they said do it within an hour. Okay? After they let
$43,000.
Okay, yeah. So $43,000. Now I am not advocating to paying terrorists what they want. All right? And you know, that's kind of what this is. Let's just be perfectly clear about it. But as far as follow through, these people get an A. All right? These people are not quitters. These people, you know, the guidance counselor could not say that they didn't put their mind to something, because they did a heck of a job of bringing down a service. All right? A service with over 100 points of presence servers crashed. All right? They just DDoSed this provider into the ground and kept on it. I mean, at one point I was wondering if VoIP MS was just trying to wait them out. But after like day 4, you can't wait them out anymore. And we were hearing, the user community was hearing rumors of, all right, after the first demand for money didn't pan out, then they said, okay, $10 million for us to stop. And if you don't pay in 24 hours, we'll up it again. And the next time we heard a number, it was $15 million. And, you know, and eventually there was a note that leaked out that said, okay, this is Revil, the same people that downed, the pipeline for a day. And the same people that downed 3 other telephone companies a couple weeks ago in the UK. Not people you want to mess around with necessarily. No. Now, again, I'm not advocating paying giving into terroristic demands. That's not what I'm saying. But what this did showcase is, you know, a fault in their planning. Okay? I'm not going to say that they didn't plan for anything, because obviously they planned for some type of an attack, but not of this scale. And we don't have the numbers of what the attack was or how vicious it was, but we do have an attack from the UK, from what the UK saw 2 weeks prior. The UK saw, and now this is getting deep, so the geeks are going to like this, and the normies aren't going to know what I'm talking about here. But according to previous reports, the UK outage, which was supposedly by these same people, and again, we don't know whether they're just impersonating these folks or whether it really was Revil, generated 450 gigabits per second traffic to their servers.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't think there's anybody that is planned enough for that type of mitigation. Because I was watching a few things from Tom Lawrence of Lawrence Systems, and he was talking to somebody who designs huge networks for a living, like, you know, in bank industry, bank to bank networks and major backbones. And he goes, listen, the problem isn't, you know, the planning necessarily. It's sometimes it's just that the equipment you have and what you're trying to do, it's a processing thing, right? You can't mitigate that massive amount of an attack. There's just nothing that is designed to filter that much traffic that quickly to allow the good traffic still through. I mean, look at your home internet. Colin, you've got a gigabit. All right?
Yeah, I got fiber.
Yeah, so some businesses have 10 gig. But we're talking data center levels of bandwidth.
What was the bandwidth that they were sending?
450 gigabits per second.
So, all right. So 450 gigabits per second. You would have to have 270 100 gigabit links in order to process that much bandwidth per second.
Right. And, those have to funnel somewhere and have a machine capable of doing it. It's not just the bandwidth in either. It's the processing that has to take place to say this traffic's bad versus this traffic that's good. And that's not something that you leave on all the time, because especially you had a ton of armchair quarterbacks saying, well, just put it behind Cloudflare and you'll be fine. Not knowing that Cloudflare doesn't even do SIP protection. That's not a service that they offer. So they don't even do telephone service protection. All right? And protecting a website is a hell of a lot different than protecting a telephone service. Telephone service latency is key. So you don't put something in to protect the telephone service unless you're being attacked, because it takes too much time. It adds too much time to the processing.
And that's why they're going after telephone services, because it's getting more difficult. If someone sets themselves up on AWS or Azure, then it's going to be really difficult to denial service that out. But phones, you can still get to the phones.
Yeah, because they have to go to a single place. Because here's the thing. A phone number can only go to one location. It can only go to one server to call into. It can't distribute that out unless it's an 800 number and there's a gotcha about that. But regardless, most local numbers. So it was very interesting. It was a learning experience for me to know how certain things work and what the protection methods for this kind of stuff is. And I got caught up in it, and my customers were pissed. And so I ended up moving almost 50 lines, that then I had to go in and reconfigure and get working. So but it was a major, major outage and the people that are doing this, I'm sure they think about the things that, they're disrupting the main company they're attacking, and they're disrupting all the resellers of that service and all the businesses that those resellers service. So, they're going after major, services. So, it's not cool.
Well, I guess I just don't understand the idea of doing something like that out of malice, because it's just not in my nature. But
yeah, my wife kept saying, well, why do they do it? And my customers kept asking me, well, why do they do it? And I'm like, well, somebody at some point paid.
Well, and that's the thing. They know that they're holding a company over a barrel because the customers are going to scream. One person causes an action that you have as a customer, you have no idea who caused it. But guess what? All of the customers affected suddenly are on that side. They are allies of the person because they want it ended as quick as possible. They don't care how.
Right. And there's limited remedies towards that situation. Phone numbers not working, not ringing. What do you do? And I had tons of people going, well, you should have, backups in place and all this stuff. What? You're going to publish multiple numbers from multiple providers? This isn't like internet connections. Yeah, I could bring in multiple internet connections from multiple providers, and if one goes down, I can flip over the other ones. Phone numbers don't work that way. No. So, you can put in redundant outbound lines, but that's not where the majority of your calls are, unless you're an Indian call center, who's or a spam company, or a fraudulent company. That's where you're okay at. But if you're a business, a restaurant, for example, your phone calls are incoming; they're not outgoing. So it was a very frustrating week for me dealing with that, because I kept going, well, maybe they'll come back up. Maybe they'll come back up. Because it took 3 days to port numbers out. 3 days where you're sitting twiddling your thumbs because you can't do anything. So,
So I was reading this on ours. Someone was saying that if it is refill, it's probably not the original refill.
Yeah.
Apparently, they made a mistake a few months ago and tried to attack a U.S. oil pipeline operator.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that was what made people fill up trash cans with gasoline.
Yeah. So apparently, because it's a U.S. oil pipeline, the operators have connections back in Russia, and so that's why Revel has actually gone dark for a few months, because according to this post, they attacked someone who actually has enough Russian connections to get them in trouble.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's and the thing that I was initially apprehensive about switching was, okay, this, as I said, this could happen to anybody. So whoever you go to could be the next target. So you may be trading, you may be jumping from one frying pan into the next one that just hasn't had its burner turned on yet. So there's always that fear, and you don't know. And you have to trust sales slime, which I hate doing. That's the problem, is you have to trust that when you say, hey, could you handle an attack like this? And they go, yeah, we got this, that they're telling you the truth. And whoever tells you the truth? Nobody. Other than PTR Radio, we tell you the truth and nothing but the truth.
You know who tells you the truth? So if I'm asking your competitor about you, they're telling me the truth about you.
Yeah. And I could be telling you the truth about the other competitor. So you're talking about each one.
Because they're gonna tell me, no, he can't handle that. We can.
Yeah.
But so they're lying about themselves.
But there is one person who will always tell you the truth, no matter what.
Obama.
No matter if you,
No.
Nicki Minaj. She will tell you about her cousin's boyfriend, a friend of her cousin's boyfriend who had swollen balls.
Nicki Minaj will tell you how she is being blacklisted by the music industry and has been targeted because of her vaccination views, based off of the fact that her best friend's sister's cousin's boyfriend heard from a guy who saw a kid at 31 Flavors who was sterile after he got the vaccine.
Yeah. But don't worry, because Nicki Minaj, in that same thought process, thinks she was invited to the White House to discuss her stance on vaccinations.
Yeah, I'm sure that Fauci is... Have my people call her people so we can sit down and we can talk about this. We can put it up on the YouTube, and then they'll believe us.
It's interesting. It is very interesting that...
Actually, no, hold on. If I'm gonna do Fauci, like, you gotta... Because anytime he does a web thing, he's always... Listen, it's very clear that when the people, in order to make sure that you're not going to become sterile from being vaccinated, you're going to have to get the booster shot. That's very simple.
They're trying to assassinate her character, is what she claims. No one else will ever ask questions again. Don't you see what's happening? Wasn't she a hooker? Didn't she come out and admit to like roofing Johns and stealing their money?
Somebody once said, "Oh, we're going to have legends out on the stage like Nicki Minaj." Is legend? No. You ain't even Megan Thee Stallion with the extra E. I don't look.
I'm sorry. Cardi B was accused of prostitution, not Nicki Minaj. Gosh, I'm getting them so confused.
They're Cardi B and Nicki Minaj are two different people?
I guess.
No. Yeah, Nicki Minaj was the one who got fired from a job as a waitress at Red Lobster. That's
right. Nicki Minaj was the one that pissed off Mariah Carey on that one season of American Idol.
She's the one who killed American Idol.
Well,
I don't see a huge difference in them. You know,
their music is different. And I know the difference, but Cardi B is the one that they brought on because the Fast and Furious franchise needed another cameo to draw people in. So they have officially jumped the shark in space.
Now, which one sang the WAP?
That is Megan Thee Stallion, and I think that's Cardi B.
Okay.
With her.
Well, I don't know.
All I remember is watching the Grammys or the Video Music Awards, or one of them, and Kim saying, "Let me tell you something. If WAP wins that rap song of the year, our generation is doomed."
And it did.
No, it didn't.
It didn't? I thought it won.
I don't think it. It didn't win the category that doomed it.
WAP award. American Music Award for Favorite Song Rap Hip Hop in 2020. BET Award for Video of the Year in 2021. BET Award for Best Collaboration 2021. People's Choice Award for Favorite Collaboration Song in 2020.
We're doomed.
You're right. It's Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Oh.
We're doomed.
Yep.
I do not know any of these songs, so if that one is
Wait
better than any other rap song, then why do I care?
Hold on. You haven't seen the video for WAP?
I have carefully not watched any of these videos.
I so want you and the parents to watch it on the big screen together. I want
do not do that.
I want the Blairs react to WAP.
Let me tell you something. Not telling Colin and his parents and his family to react to that video, but the Blairs react to. I would subscribe to that YouTube channel. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think there's enough React videos out there. I watch too many of them every day.
I get sucked into the ones every once in a while of the guy reacting where first time hearing Bohemian Rhapsody. Where did you come from?
Oh, I first time listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan. I can't not watch a video where they haven't heard Stevie Ray Vaughan play before.
Between that, Irish People Try.
Oh, love that channel. 3 times a week, gotta watch it.
And Guga Foods.
I don't watch that one.
Guga Food. He does he started out as sous vide everything but now.
So it's like Epic Mealtime.
He does a lot of dry aging experiments.
Huh?
Like he coated a steak in peanut butter and dry aged it for 30 days. Coated a steak in Nutella and dry aged it. Coated a steak in I think he did butter. He rehydrated a steak with bone marrow or beef marrow. He's done a lot of experiments like that. And so And then he's done experiments where he cooked a full brisket in the microwave just to see how it would come out, because people dared him to. But he does a lot of that type of cooking, and I'll get sucked into that sometimes, but...
Yeah, I got hooked into... I went down the rabbit hole of... there's a guy who does testing videos. It's like a farm progress or something, like a progress test or something like that.
Oh, Project Farm.
Project Farm. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get sucked into his, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so... But, no, I... yeah, no. And then... Claire...
Franken Reviews is also good.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what's best is PTR Radio. 2 hours of great content that you can't, not watch. So that's the best one. Mama Blair surprising us.
Mama Blair is the hippest person in PTR's circle, because...
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you a true story. I had friends of mine threw a party probably about 2 months ago. And I said, okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to come out of retirement and I'm going to DJ. I'm going to make up some DJ mixes for you. Give me an idea of what you like. Sent me a link to an iTunes playlist. I didn't know a single person on that. It was all like house music and techno house and trip hop and I'm like,
yeah.
Thankfully, I could just go and type in the names and find, the genres and stuff on my record pool, and I was like, oh, some of these songs I don't even know. Like,
yeah, I got asked to. I DJ'd a wedding, and they asked me for a couple songs that I had no idea. It's like Ass Shaker 3000. I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, oh, it's by the Booty Brothers. Who the hell? I never heard of it before. Nor do I want to hear about it. No, here, listen to the Thong Song by Cisco. That's better. Here.
I got the dude. Here, I got the dude from America's Got Talent. I got Tone the Chief Rocker. You'll like this one. B-O-O-T-Y. That butt you can't deny. B-O-O-B-O-O-B. I got that one for you.
Yeah.
Or how about this one? I have a pen. I have an apple. Apple pen. I have that one for you.
Yeah. I had already run out of all my games to play, and the mother of the bride comes up and goes, well, do you have any games I can play? No. No. I didn't bring my game set with me. I already gave out my hula hoops. I'm done. I'm out. So, all right. Talking about being old, there is a short list. Older folks pointing out things that kids today wouldn't understand. Now, I bet that we can go beyond this list, but this is a short list of. They have 20 things here, 18 things here that kids do not understand if they were talked about them today. If you were to talk about them today, and most of these are very simple. Waiting for your favorite song to come on the radio so you could tape record them. Okay, first of all, they don't know what tapes are. That's
no,
you
they
could
do.
Just stop at that.
They kind of know because
from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, and also because they're coming out with boom boxes again that have actual cassette players in them.
Why? Vinyl was one thing. Vinyl, actually, you could make a case for. No one has ever said, oh, this sounds so much better on cassette. This
is true.
A really good tape recording can stand up to anything else. It's just that it was very unlikely that you'd get one. But that's a different YouTube channel to watch.
Until you leave it in a hot car.
That'd be tech mode.
Writing down friends' contact information in address books. All right, I didn't have an address book.
I had a Rolodex.
Yes.
When I started at work, I had a Rolodex. This was when Palm Pilots were first making their way into the workplace, right?
Colin had every Palm Pilot. I think Colin,
Handspring. I had a handspring.
Okay. Going to Blockbuster and picking out movies. Well, yeah. And then getting mad because they were out of the movie that you wanted. But we didn't go to Blockbuster.
People may know that because they just from seeing it in movies, though.
Yeah.
Like, they don't understand the disappointment of getting there and finding out they don't have that movie.
Well, what they don't understand is that sometimes you'd have to rent the VCR from Blockbuster because you didn't have one.
I don't even understand that one, so...
Well, no. You never had to rent a VCR before you could afford one? Oh,
no.
yeah. Yeah, that was a thing around here. Knocking on each other's house to see if they wanted to come out. No texting beforehand, just showing up unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay. Rewinding a movie after you watched it. This actually came up the other day because I'm in the middle of copying movies from VHS to DVD, and every one of them, my in-laws didn't bother to rewind. And I'm like, God damn it, be kind, rewind. You know, I tell my wife, I'm like, we should have brought the rewinder from his house as well as the VCR. We forgot the rewinder. Yes, having a separate component just to rewind tapes.
Yep. Well, listen, in some households, that paid for itself because you paid that extra $1.
Oh, yeah.
If it wasn't rewound.
Having to pay $1 if it wasn't rewound. Blowing into the bottom of a Nintendo or Sega game cartridge to get them to work.
We explained that during a telethon show once.
Yeah.
And somebody listening actually changed that to their MySpace status or headline or something, or their AIM status. It didn't work. You took it out, put it back in, and then you could play Donkey Kong.
Yep.
Until it dried out because all you're doing is making it wet.
Having to get off the computer because mom needed to make a phone call, or better yet, kicking your sister or your parents off the computer by just picking up the receiver and punching buttons because you wanted to make a phone call.
Oh, no, even better, you only get your sister because she keeps talking to her friends, and it's after the time where it's supposed to be you can use your modem now.
I think we all know the modem tones and the different baud rates that they go with. Walking to the shop with a handwritten note and $10 to buy Dad's beer. I'm not that old.
I don't know that one either.
That one's, you got to be pretty old for that one to work. Trying to fit a Walkman in your pocket? No. Well, I mean, we had bigger pockets back then.
Yeah.
Turning the TV to channel 3 to play video games. That was a thing.
Now, I'll do it one better. When you had the little switch in the back that you had to flip.
Yep, the little silver box.
That interrupted the antenna.
Yep. Rushing to go to the bathroom and get snacks during commercial breaks. That still happens.
No, because now everybody can just pause.
Yeah, now you got a DVR, but still. I'm going to skip 12 because it's stupid.
No, it's not. No. Walking to school. Okay, we could just talk about that one. Walking to school. I'm pretty sure in my neighborhood, in a 3-block radius, there are no less than 17 bus stops for the high school. Because kids can't even walk 2 friggin' blocks. Thanks a lot, predators in vans. Now, there's got to be bus stops everywhere. We used to walk. We'd have 2 full school buses of kids at one street corner when I was going to high school. That was the bus for the high school. So,
man, you better make sure to wear the right colors, or you could get cut at the bus stop. Having a 2 to 3 hour window on Saturday and Sunday morning when cartoons were aired if you slept in no cartoons.
Yep.
Bringing my memory card over to my friends so we could play all the characters that I unlocked. Yeah. Carrying school books and papers around under my arm because nobody had thought to use a backpack for that yet in the 70s.
Or here's a better one, loose leaf binders.
Yeah. Finding the TV Guide magazine to show what shows were on that night, or sitting there waiting for the TV Guide channel to scroll back. Okay, yeah, that one's kind of one. The TV Guide channel. Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, and you'd watch the numbers, and inevitably you'd have to watch like 3 times.
Yeah,
because you'd miss.
It scrolled too fast. Yeah. Oh, and the preview thing would take up half the screen. So you're only seeing 3 channels at a time. Walking to the television to turn it off and on, and using
or change channels.
Yeah, or well, not just walking to the television to turn it off and on, but asking who saw the pliers last to turn it on and off. The channel locks.
Yeah, see, we were classy. We had a pair of vice grips that were latched on there permanently.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally, our problem is sometimes you had to move them from the power and the volume knob to the channel, and so you had to take them one off and one back on, so they just sat on top of the TV sometimes. And finally, using a rotary phone. I had a rotary phone down in our basement, and it was a pain in the butt. That was the only rotary phone in our house, but it was a pain. But no.
The best had to be, though, the rotary phones back then were typically hardwired into the wall, and you rented them from the phone company.
Well, this one wasn't rented, but it was definitely hard. It was definitely, it was wired. But I do remember our first cordless phone, my first cordless phone, because I bought everything new in the house.
With the antenna, and actually had a switch to turn it on and off?
No, mine had a little rubber duck antenna on it. It wasn't an extendo like, Zach's. But I had a little rubber duck antenna. I think it was like, 500 megahertz or something like that. I mean, it was ridiculous. And yeah, you could walk about 20 feet away from the base station, and that was it. Yeah, and those good old days when you could pick up, baby monitors.
So yeah, old tech. When you clean out an older relative's house, that's when you typically find this stuff. Like, hey, what was this? What was this? And I don't know if I would necessarily say that a Zune is old tech as it is failed tech.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, it was a good idea that didn't catch on.
Well, it was a good idea that already caught on with from somebody else. I liked my Zune, though. It was a good player.
You could play Doom on it. So,
Not the one I had. I had the preview. I had the original Zune.
But all right, so that's old. That's us being old. Now, Mike, you had posted an article about The View, and I haven't had a chance to check up on it. Obviously, I'm not really a regular visitor or watcher of The View, so I'm curious.
It's the first time in my life
what's going on.
I went upstairs and legitimately turned The View on to see what the hell was going on, because it was live. Twitter starts blowing up, and because Vice President Kamala Harris is going to be on The View, her first talk show interview since taking office. And right before she's scheduled to come out, they ask 2 of the hosts, is it Sonny and Anna Navarro? Sonny Houston and Anna Navarro, am I getting the names right? I don't know. The 2 on the right.
Okay.
Ask them to leave the studio. And it turns out they had to leave because they tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh.
Now, this raised questions. Because then it took them 30 minutes to figure out what they were going to do with the vice president. And instead of having the entire show out there, they had to cram her segment into like the last 10 minutes of the show. And of course, Twitter's blowing up because the two that had to get shuffled off were the two that had the most hard-hitting questions for the vice president.
Okay.
Add to this that later on they're told that at least Anna Navarro, I think. Am I getting the names right? Somebody check
Anna
on this.
and Sonny. We do know about that the first names are right.
Okay, so Anna, turns out that she took 3 tests after that, and all were negative. So the test was a false positive.
Okay.
Yep.
That sends conspiracy Twitter into a tailspin.
Right, even though we know false positives happen.
Saying it was all planned. Now, my whole thing was they were sitting out there for the entire pre-show. They were sitting out there, and then they put the vice president in a remote room anyway. Why did you even shuffle them off?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you just...
Yeah.
The exposure was done at that point.
Yeah. But as far as the conspiracy thing goes, it was supposed to be this big thing, was her first live interview, which it turned out not to be because she was in the room with them. So they decided to completely sabotage their own PR by pretending that two people... I don't know. Sometimes the conspiracy people just... I'm just wondering, what are you thinking? But it's impossible to talk to them because, well,
the leading theory is that the test was just a way of getting these two off of the panel so that they couldn't ask the hard-hitting questions they wanted to ask and put the vice president on the spot. That was the leading theory.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Which, you know,
but see, they didn't even participate virtually. That's the other thing. So I don't know. But in the end, everybody's talking about The View. And, of course, Whoopi wasn't there either because Whoopi's home with, I don't know, sciatica or something. I don't know. But
Whoopi's the only reason to watch.
The fact that I actually turned on The View to see, and again, this is my conspiracy theory. This was all planned out well ahead of time just to get their ratings up, to get people tuning in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then everyone would see that they are incapable of actually running a TV show and never watch it again. So, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very good conspiracy theory.
But the irony is that just a week before, and this is, I hate even possibly delving into this, but just a week before, I was asking the question on Twitter. It wasn't even a week. Has anybody seen Kamala? Not that I'm looking for her, but I'm actually concerned about her well-being because I have not seen or heard about her in quite a while.
That's the way vice presidents work, though.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we didn't see Joe that much, except for in memes.
We didn't see Pence that much.
This is true.
You know?
It's true.
Hey, the vice president gets sent out to things that aren't going to be big camera things. Because if it was a big camera thing, you'd send the president.
Yeah. He gets sent out as like goodwill ambassador to stuff. You know, he gets to go to funerals and weddings and all the other stuff that the president doesn't get to go to.
Yep.
You know, he gets to preside over Congress. You know,
if you're really important, you get the president. If you're sort of important, you get the Secretary of State. And if maybe someone thinks that you're kind of interesting, you get the vice president.
Well, at this point, I'm going to get like the director of education, like 47th in line for succession, because
which means that you're in an episode of Battlestar Galactica, and then now she's the president.
Exactly, but that's okay. Or designated survivor, you know.
Speaking of Battlestar Galactica, Colin, you're really excited about.
Oh, I'm extremely excited. So. Okay, it's half excitement, half trepidation. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So on
Wait,
the good side, we're getting a new Babylon 5. It's going
How
to
the
be
hell are you
showrun by J.
comparing this to
Michael
Battlestar Galactica?
I don't know. I was just trying to get there.
But it actually isn't. I'll bring it back there, so it actually does make sense. So bringing back Babylon 5. It's being showrun by J. Michael Straczynski. It's going to be on the CW. So hopefully the CW doesn't destroy it. But it is going to be a reboot, just like Battlestar Galactica, okay? So
Or just like the Connors or the Wonder Years. No, that's not a close enough job. Shaggy, you made my damn nipples twitch talking about Battlestar Galactica, and there's no connection here.
No, the Connors was a continuation. This is not a continuation. This
The
is
Wonder
a
Years.
brand new show using the same basic idea of the original show, just like Battlestar Galactica was not a continuation of the original Battlestar Galactica. It was a reimagining using the same basic plot points. Straczynski himself even referenced Battlestar Galactica to say what this is going to be like.
Nope, that's a view type thing, trying to just get people to watch it. Nope.
Mike,
Nope.
Mike, can I give you stiff nipples again? The creator of Mr. Robot is executive producing a brand new take on Battlestar Galactica for Peacock, a series that he has consistently maintained will not be a reboot of what Moore originally crafted. Details on this new Battlestar Galactica have been scant, so when Collider's own Steve Weintraub spoke with Essman recently for an extended exclusive interview, he asked what to expect. And while Essman was tight-lipped when it came to the story, he did offer some tantalizing details about his approach to the series. So, Battlestar Galactica might be getting a reboot shortly on Peacock.
Yeah, you just saved me. You saved it.
Yeah, I'll say, the new Battlestar Galactica, the original new Battlestar Galactica, was very good. They took a lot of the ideas of how to do a TV show from Babylon 5, and they ran it up, and it was good. But Babylon 5 was still the first one. It was still the best show of all time, and I'm very much looking forward to its reboot.
Well, okay. I might as well talk politics at this point, because I can tell there's no debating this one.
So I don't know.
I had a friend of the show ready to come out and start debating, but even he said, "Nope, not going to do it."
I didn't watch either of those shows, so I didn't watch Babylon 5. I didn't watch Battlestar Galactica. No.
So, all right. So since I am of the mindset here that comparing these two shows is kind of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to temporarily take on the role of Stretch Armstrong with the stretch I'm about to give you guys, because in one of my journeys down the rabbit hole that is YouTube, I found a video that is so ridiculous it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that is that the movie Snowpiercer, which
yes,
the TNT television show is based off of, is actually a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, boy, this is a 14-minute, 45-second video, so it better be expansive.
Notes, so I'm going to summarize for you. The theory here is that Charlie grew up to be Mr. Wilford. He saw the changes in the world. Willy Wonka was all about technology and experimental forms of transportation, which is where the train came from. The changes in the technology resulted in the extinction of the Oompa Loompas He was also about making experimental food, which is an essential point of Snowpiercer. Self-contained, nobody goes in, nobody goes out of the factory. The train is the same way. It even goes so far as to take some characters and say, well, what if these characters actually were the kids from Willy Wonka? And with every level of commentary on this, I sat back and said, huh, never thought about it. So, without, I'm trying not to spoil it here, but the fact that in Snowpiercer, in the movie, the whole plot basically centered around children, right? And part of the issue was the train parts. Replacement parts were no longer available, so they had to use children. Well, the replacement parts that were no longer available were the Oompa Loompas, who went extinct because you never saw a female Oompa Loompa. So they had to use children to get into the tiny spaces of the engine to keep the engine running.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I get it. I just don't know that. I definitely don't like it. Sounds weird.
Well, I mean,
it's very weird.
I love all these nutso fan theories, because the more they put together, the more you understand. As Mike said, I think earlier when he was putting this up, you understand why people believe silly, stupid conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
My favorite's always been the Pixar theory that tries to put every single Pixar movie together into being a cohesive timeline of a single world.
Yeah. So, speaking of trying to put things together, I'm going to try to put together our next video clip and a news story. So you guys see if you can come up, because I know you guys didn't watch this. See if you can come up with what the connection is. All right?
Okay.
See if this works. Oh, there we go. Maybe. Hold on. I can't.
I'm going to be late. I have the plumber here right now, and he's fixing my sink.
Are you guys hearing that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta go. Bye. Hey, sir, how's it going?
You're just gonna need a new spray valve, and then it should work properly.
Were my pipes dirty?
I don't know. I just checked the spray valve and the tailpiece.
Did you clean my pipes?
No. I just checked your spray valve and tailpiece.
Do you want to clean my pipes?
Do you want me to clean your pipes?
Maybe.
Okay. Just let me know if you do.
I bet I could handle a pretty big pipe.
You mean like a 2? I don't know. I mean, your system was built to be a 1.5. That's what you currently have. I can install a 2, but I have to rip everything out, and that's going to cost you north of $3,000.
Oh, I don't have that much money.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really make sense to do it anyway, so.
Well, maybe if I can figure out another form of payment?
You mean like a check? Yeah, that's fine.
No, I mean like maybe if you take care of my pipes, I can take care of your pipe.
Ma'am, I do my own plumbing.
So
this is like it's like a reverse or a bizarro world of every bad porn movie.
So I don't know if that, you'll have to see if that came out over the stream or not, Mike, by the comments, or if it was just dead air, because I couldn't hear it, but I don't know if it was going out.
Oh, it came to us.
Huh? Oh, it came through. Okay. So yeah, it was. It's basically it's what if it's kind of like real life porn, right? And so the scenario was a woman having plumbing done, and she's scantily clad, and trying to get out of paying the bill, using her assets. And so I came across it and I thought it was kind of funny. I've also seen other ones where it's like, if country lyrics were real, and all kinds of, this guy does some pretty interesting ones, and country song lyrics were real. And so they've got this one, and then they've also got one that is, what was the other one? The other one was, woman stuck in washing machine. So
stuck in a washing machine. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, you may or may not be familiar with those tropes. But anyway, so I thought this might be a good introduction into the fact that the porn industry is starting. This is news because I thought that they already had one. They're starting a lobbying group. And they're actually going to have a presence on Capitol Hill.
As well, they probably should.
You know, and some of this is in response to some of the Trump era changes that were made or were proposed to be made specifically to Section 230. Now, Section 230 actually pertains to us to some degree, which is interesting. It essentially holds that distribution channels like Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all those are not directly responsible for the posts of their users. All right? So it says that there is a distinction between the responsibilities of the platform versus the poster. So and the most recent example of this was that came down was Pornhub, for example, wasn't directly responsible for. There was a couple of incidences where there was revenge porn posted. They weren't directly responsible for that. The poster was, but the industry fought. The rest of the industries fought back, and they had major credit card companies saying, "Listen, we're going to stop processing your payments unless you change your model to stop this," because they didn't want Washington pressuring them.
Yeah.
You know, so because if Washington can't apply pressure one way, they'll apply pressure a different way. So
I don't believe that not one bit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like a mafia thing. So, you know, I mean, go figure. So, and what the most recent one also is the OnlyFans, right? OnlyFans. We talked about this on the last show. OnlyFans was having trouble with their payment processing and their banking. The banking was saying, "Listen, you guys are really getting into porn now, and we're not sure we want to deal with you anymore if that's the direction you're going to go." And so OnlyFans knee-jerk reaction was, "Okay, well we're gonna ban porn," and then they had to come back and say, "Oh, wait a second. The creator community said we can't do that, so we're not actually going to do that."
Well, and you know, the credit card companies started this a little while ago, before regulations actually officially passed about vaping.
Mm-hmm.
Credit card companies stopped processing payments to certain sites that sold vaping equipment.
Yep. And we talked before about the same thing happening to marijuana distributors. Even though it's been decriminalized across the country, they still, basically have to have huge safes to hold all their money because they can't deposit it in a bank. So what the porn industry is doing, specifically the Pornhubs, the OnlyFans, those kind of ones that are directly affected by this, is they have gone and they have created a free speech coalition, which is a trade organization for the adult entertainment industry. And they have contracted for two lobbying groups, Clarity Consulting, and another DC-based lobbying firm, which will be the first group to register to lobby on the Hill on behalf of the porn industry. So it's an officially registered lobbying group. They're going to get paid $30,000 per quarter to lobby Congress and the executive branch, including the Treasury Department. And the reason why they're doing this is because they say there's a vacuum of information about the sex industry in general and what it is and what it isn't. And their hope is to change the mindset of Congress and get it to be, legitimized and stop people, demonizing the work. According to the Free Speech Coalition, our workers vote, they pay taxes, they're strong members of the community, and they deserve representation. And I got to say, I can't argue with that stance. They do.
I agree.
They absolutely do. Yeah, every industry deserves representation, regardless of what you morally feel about it. Okay, just because their morals don't align to your morals, it doesn't mean that they should deserve any less representation.
And this is kind of what I said when we talked about the Pornhub story. It's not the credit card company's decision or role to decide what is morally correct.
Yeah.
Legal is one thing. I understand that. But legal typically is, when you're talking about credit cards, legal is a black or white issue.
Yeah.
Meaning it's either legal or it's not. Cash, cash transactions is a whole other.
Yeah.
It's not their job. It's not the bank's job to determine moral high ground.
Yeah, and you can't say that those in Washington, D.C. have a higher moral compass than the porn industry, because we've seen the stories that have come from the legislators and the things that they've been found guilty of. I remember a conversation about a certain blue dress and some cigars. All right? Tell me that wasn't hinky. All right? It was. It absolutely was. So, yeah, there's also, there's tons of things, and they deserve representation. So I'm not saying that I'm endorsing pornography or discriminating against pornography, but I'm saying that they have a right to representation, just like anyone else has a right to representation. So, I just thought it was an interesting story about that they hadn't had representation before. It's,
Well, I also think that, you're going to see porn stars standing arm in arm with dancers from like TikTok,
Yep.
with musicians, with animators, you're going to see them with a lot. This is very much a case of what one could say is the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Well, yeah, and you'll see them with the cannabis distributors. You'll see them with, you'll see them with the gun store owners. Any marginalized industry who is being incorrectly persecuted because of their chosen profession, and a perceived danger in processing.
Yeah.
So.
Now, the downside here, if this passes also, is it's going to make it much harder for, just speaking personally, it could very well make it much harder for us to broadcast.
Yeah. Because the moment that you do start to restrict speech and hold platforms accountable for what is said or what is done on their platform, those platforms really start to choke down on what they allow on it, because they don't want to open themselves up to anything. So here, we're pretty real about what we talk about. We don't generally curb our discussions at all. We don't care if it's not popular politically. We don't care if it's, not the normal views. We just talk about whatever comes to mind. And trust me, there are some topics that we view as off the table that we don't discuss, and that's for personal reasons, not because of fear of discussing them. But in general, people could find what we talk about offensive. And in my mind, they're welcome to find it offensive, and they're welcome to change the channel. And YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and Facebook shouldn't be persecuted because somebody finds what we say offensive. That's the internet. And, they shouldn't have, guns bolted to their hands because they clap back at us. Just saying. As an example.
That's a bad example.
It's a bad example, but it's an example. All right. Moving on in the political realm, though.
Must we?
Matthew McConaughey. I want to talk about Mr. All right. Mr. Cadillac himself.
Lincoln.
Mr. Lincoln himself. Do we need another celebrity governor? Do we need another? We've had Jesse the Body Ventura. We've had Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do we need? Have we had any more? And do we need any more?
Have we had any more governors? No, we've had mayors, I think. Well, I think Reagan was a governor first, wasn't he?
I think so. Yes.
And he was an actor before he was a governor. So I'd say he kind of started all of this. But
Yeah,
do we need
everybody else has just been in Congress?
This is where it gets.
Reagan was a governor. You're right. Yeah, California.
Okay, so this is where it gets a little hinky again as far as where we want to go with this. If he said it was anywhere but Texas or Florida, then people might have a completely different view on this. Because Texas and Florida are arguably the two states that seem to go completely in the face of everything the federal government is trying to do in regards to, I'm going to say, COVID mandates.
Yep.
Right?
Well,
so
Texas has a history of going against the grain in everything.
Well, yeah. And look, I'm not supporting the governor of Texas. Who I don't even know what the damn name is. DeSantis is Florida, right?
Yes.
Yeah, DeSantis is Florida. Who the hell is Texas?
Texas is Greg Abbott.
Greg Abbott. Okay.
Who said he was going to get rid of all rapists in Texas. Most recently, he said he was going to totally eliminate rape in Texas, single-handedly.
Okay. Yeah, and he probably said that in response to, well, what are we supposed to do about abortions in the case of rape? Well, I just banned them, so we're going to get rid of rape.
Yep.
Look, I don't agree with a lot of stuff. And by me saying this, don't interpret it as my supporting of him. But if it was anybody less controversial, McConaughey wouldn't even think about this.
Yeah.
That's the long and the short of it. This is no different than Caitlyn Jenner. Well, it's the opposite side of the coin here. Caitlyn Jenner is running for governor in California because she doesn't agree with the heavy restrictions. McConaughey is running because he doesn't agree with Abbott's hands-off, free will, go against the federal government kind of thing. It's kind of... I'm just going to ask this question because, well, you know, I haven't tasted my foot in a while, so... Is every actor a Democrat?
No.
No.
Okay.
No, because
it seems like...
Look at guy who was talking to an empty chair.
Clint Eastwood.
Oh.
Clint Eastwood.
Eastwood. Okay. It seems like anybody who's interested in... It seems like the majority is probably... Because the governor was, right?
Democrat, yep.
No.
I don't know.
Governor's Republican.
What's that?
He? I thought he was Democrat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
you're right. He was. You're absolutely correct.
I'm completely wrong then. So
I'll tell you. Here's 27.
Do I think McConaughey would make a good governor? I do think McConaughey could make a good. He seems very down to earth. I question more of why. Is he doing it because he wants Abbott out of office, or is he doing it because he genuinely thinks he can improve the state of Texas. Because in the end, that is what an elected official's job is. It's to improve the quality of life for the constituents.
He'll change the state motto. Instead of the Lone Star State, it'll be the Chill State. Here, by the way, here's 27 Republican celebrities: Candace Cameron Bure, Melissa Joan Hart, Kelsey Grammer, Christy Swanson, Tim Allen, Caitlyn Jenner, James Woods, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Clint Eastwood, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, Gene Simmons. That's a surprise. Nick Mangold, Stacey Dash, Spencer Hawes.
Oh, God.
Jerry Bruckheimer, Scott Baio. We forgot about him. Now that was Roseanne Barr, Antonio Sabato Jr., Dennis Quaid, Ted Nugent. How did we forget the Nuge? John Voight, Dean Cain. Dean Cain makes another appearance on the show. One of these days, we got to get him on the show.
Okay. How many people are on this list?
27.
Okay.
Isaiah Washington. We're almost done. Conor McGregor, although he's Irish. John Ratzenberger. So Cliff from Cheers. Meghan McCain and Catherine McPhee.
All right. Meghan McCain, she's out because she's only a celebrity because she's a Republican.
Conor McGregor's out because he's not a U.S. citizen.
I don't know. I honestly, I think at this point Texas should probably just secede from the nation.
Should we just call them South Central America?
Can we trade Texas for, I don't know, Puerto Rico? This way we don't have to make new flags. All right, Texas, you're out. What? Puerto Rico, you're in. And how about we do this? How about it becomes like 50 states and the territory, and every year the lowest ranking state gets booted out and the other one comes in. How about that?
We take it based off of education. Where you rank in education?
It's like, I don't know, because New Jersey's not. We're strongly mid-pack if we're lucky in education. But as far as hatred, New Jersey is the most hated state in the nation. So I'm putting my neck on the line by saying this. If it comes to a vote, New Jersey's out.
Literally,
Texas, I can guarantee that.
Literally, American Idol. We vote a state out. The little states are going to go first. Rhode Island, sorry about your luck.
Yeah, but if Rhode Island comes out and all right, it's more like Puerto Rico. You want to become a state. I understand. In order for you to become a state, somebody has to go, because we're not changing the flag.
Yep.
And if it's going to wind up being, unless Texas jumps up and says, I volunteer as tribute, then New Jersey is going to be the one that's going to be voted out because we are the most hated.
Possibly. And then we're going after Cuba next, I think. I think Cuba would embrace us.
If Cuba decided to become a state, the irony here is if Cuba became a state and Florida got eliminated.
Booted. Yeah.
There would be some sweet irony in that. I don't know exactly what the joke is yet, but give me a minute. I'll find it. Well, let's ask the other question. If McConaughey runs, who should he run? Who would be the person from Hollywood we want to see him run against?
Well, I thought Bento was going to run on the Democrat side for Texas.
Beto O'Rourke?
Yeah, O'Rourke. Yeah, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Bento.
Sorry. I'm thinking of bento boxes.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
The last name is the important part. It's
O'Rourke, yes.
Beto. It's like, isn't that guy on YouTube who does videos about...
Sorry.
Music producer on YouTube?
But yeah, it was weird because I looked at the 2022, gubernatorial registry. He's not on it. He's not registered as an applicant for the governor run race.
Of course not.
Because
he hasn't decided yet. But
it's just too early.
The deadline's coming up, man.
Yeah.
Or he's going to try and do it as a write-in. This way, he doesn't have to declare a party.
Yeah, could be.
And listen, if anybody could win a governor's race as a write-in, it's Matthew McConaughey. Or
it looks like he's still considering.
Yeah, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. God, how many Governor Johnson tweets would we get a day, or Instagram posts? By the way, I bought some of that Terramana. I bought the Reposado. It's not too bad. The tequila.
I drink the Blanca. We went through. We're now going through a cycle. This last time we didn't buy Terramana. This time we bought El Jimador.
Is George Clooney?
No, George Clooney is Casamigos.
Oh yes.
No, this is just another one that was kind of recommended in the same range. But yes, we're now. I'm going to become a tequila snob within the next year. I guarantee it.
Yeah, see, I'm not that big of a tequila drinker, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But I like Aviation Gin though. That one's good. I'll keep buying that. That's not bad. So, and I'm gonna probably end up buying a Crystal Head vodka just so that I can have the damn glass.
Can we talk about real quick? Horror Hollywood's big secret is out.
Elvira.
I
know Elvira came out with a new book,
and right before Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea how many of my friends are going as a rainbow Elvira now?
Well, it is interesting for those that don't know. So Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, opens up about hiding her 19-year relationship with a woman. Now, previous to that, she had been married to a man, but both relationships she hid from the public, because she wanted to maintain the persona of Elvira, who was basically a horn dog, and honestly, kind of a sex symbol throughout the 80s and the early 90s. So she didn't want people to know, oh, here's Elvira who has a husband and kids, or, oh, here's Elvira, the lesbian, which in an interview she said, I don't really even consider myself a lesbian or bi or whatever. She goes, I just happen to love someone who happens to be female. She goes, but I'm just a person who loves somebody else. She goes, I don't label what I am. I'm just a person who loves somebody else. And she goes, she said, I actually had to talk to her, for quite a while to be able to put this in the book, because she wanted it to stay private, not because we're ashamed of each other or anything like that, but that she didn't want the attention that she knew it would bring.
And
she said, it's nice to be able to now share this part of my life with her that she couldn't before. So it was a very good interview for me to watch, and from Yahoo Entertainment, and it also talked about some of the letters that she'd received throughout the years and how she had become this spokesman for the LGBT community that she had never intended on doing, mostly because Elvira was such a strong, confident persona, that was different, that was weird, and that, gave people somebody to rally behind and to look up to even if that wasn't what she was trying to do herself, you know. So it was a really good interview to watch. And so if you do just look up Cassandra Elvira Peterson opens up about hiding her 19-year relationship with a woman, you'll find that interview, and it's an 8.5-minute interview. It's really easy to watch, and it was really good. So, but yeah, it was weird to listen to that, to go, oh, okay, Elvira is with a woman now. And that's, to me, it doesn't change the mystery of it at all. You know, I remember her from hosting, you know, the cheesy horror movies at night. That's, you know, what I remember Elvira from. So she was on one night and Rhonda Shear was on the next. Yep, in USA Up all night. You know.
What's she doing these days anyway? Rhonda Shear. Okay, she's still alive. Okay.
Yeah, because it was Rhonda Shear or it was Gilbert Godfrey. Yeah. And you prayed it was Rhonda Shear because Gilbert's voice got grating after a while.
Well, it started with Gilbert, which was interesting. And Caroline Schlitt, then Rhonda Shear.
Yep. So,
Boy.
But she talks about how, like I said, she had to keep up the persona. So she kind of, you know, she had a character to preserve to everybody. So,
well, so that's kind of interesting because that goes in line with Hollywood today, with the whole, you know, the person. It's equally important that the person playing the character represents the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, you look at Chris Evans, right? Captain America. Well, he's got to be Captain America on screen and off screen. You know, he's got to be just as true blue and you know, star-studded, and the same thing.
No, I was actually going the opposite way with it. How it seems there's a bigger push, like with Apu on The Simpsons.
Oh.
Well, he's a racial stereotype. No, I digress. I'm sorry. What? A black character being voiced by a black actor.
Mm-hmm.
And a gay character being played by a gay actor. A handicapped of any type
where there's
character being played.
Truth in casting.
Yes. That's a good way to put it, yeah.
But I think I've seen it's like you don't necessarily have to have a gay actor playing a gay character now. But if the character is supposed to be in any way camp or just very stereotypically gay, then you really better make it an actual gay actor.
So that you're not making fun of gays with a straight.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes along somewhat with the conversation we had on the last show, which is movies you can't make again. AKA, you could not put Robert Downey Jr. in blackface and make Tropic Thunder today.
Yeah, that one's debatable. I think
I don't think so.
I think when it comes down,
No, listen, you could, but any actor that takes that role on is basically committing career suicide. That's going to be. Could you make it again? Yes, you probably could. Could he stay in blackface the entire movie? No, but would he get raked over the coals for it and get? Yes. Would any actor take on that role knowing the criticism that was coming? Probably not.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, that's. Listen, you know how they'd have to do it. If they were to remake it, they'd have to like hire an actor and have him just act it out, and then CGI him black.
Yeah,
because there's no way an actor would agree to that. It's just not happening.
Yep. So, All right. It is 7:30. It is time for us to get into our double feature movie review. Now, tonight, we have as always, we have two movies to watch. We have Spencer Confidential and Guns Akimbo. Now, for those of you that are new to the show or maybe haven't heard it as often, so you don't know what the hell we're talking about here, we take two movies that are recommended to us by Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, whatever, and based on other stuff that we've watched. And, we will put those into a list. Then the random number generator grabs two of them. We watch them. We tell you if they're worth watching or not. We rank them anywhere from shnikes to puke and let you know, again, whether it's worth taking the time to actually watch them or not. So, probably first up is Guns Akimbo. And as normal, I think I'll let Colin kick this off. So, Colin, tell us what you thought of Guns Akimbo.
So, Guns Akimbo. Now, first off, we should be having this run lately of not just movies that are suggested by Netflix, but movies from the same production company. So this is another Saban Films production. In fact, we just had one of those last show too. And I will say this particular movie had some of the most producer credits I've seen in front of a movie. I mean, was there any cheap production companies that were not involved in this? I do not know. Guns Akimbo. So Harry Potter himself is the lead character, and Daniel Radcliffe, and so he's a programmer, and actually there are elements to this movie that remind me of Free Guy. So he, just like the character in Free Guy, in the real world, he's working for a company that's basically doing one of those awful mobile games that just steals money. So he decides to go out and be a troll in message boards for this site where bad guys are forced to fight each other, like a fight club for bad guys. He says he's fighting trolls, but he's being a troll. So there seems to be some messaging problem there. Anyway, he pisses them off, so they come and knock him out, and when he wakes up, he discovers that he has a handgun bolted to each one of his hands. Which gives you lots of Edward Scissorhands type scenes of him trying to do things throughout the movie, not having any fingers because his pointer finger is permanently attached inside this gun. So if he accidentally moves his finger, then he's firing the gun. He's trying to open doors and stuff and firing bullets in random places. So the bad guys also basically put him in with this. There's this other crazy woman who's been killing people all over the place, and so he has to kill her, and she has to kill him. And thus there's a chase, and he's not the smartest character you've ever seen. But when you go into the cops and you have guns attached to your hands, don't take your hands out of your pockets. Tell the police what's going on first. That's pretty simple. Of course, it wouldn't have helped because we found out later that that doesn't necessarily getting the cops on your side in this particular case wasn't necessarily going to help. I'll just put it that way. This is a very good example of how a truly terrible movie can be made better by good acting. Daniel Radcliffe is a very good actor, and he manages to make this movie acceptable. I'm not going to call it a good movie. I'm not even going to say, if you're a Daniel Radcliffe fan, you should probably watch this movie. If you don't care about Daniel Radcliffe, don't bother. But I am going to give it a smirk.
All right. I'll run next, and then Mike, you can clean up. All right. So I I agree with Colin. This had the most, production company intros that I have ever seen. I think there was 15 minutes worth of little 30-second blurbs about different production companies and special effects and everything else before the movie even started. All right? It was absolutely ridiculous. I had finished my dinner by the time the movie started. Then the movie gets going. It's super slow. It's super depressing. And then he gets knocked out. So he's a internet tough guy who goes a step too far, and then he gets knock on his door, gets lights out, and then you start to see, okay, suddenly this has turned into basically Saw. All right? Or what I perceived as Saw. And it's at this point where I start to think, I might ripcord. I've never ripcorded before on a movie, but I might do it because this isn't my style. And so I let it go a few minutes more till he wakes up with guns on his hands, and then he shoots his picture in his living room, and then there's close-ups of his hands with these bolts going through them, and I'm like, yep, next channel, next movie, I'm out. This is not what I signed up for. I don't mind funny gory. That don't bother me. But that was just a stretch too far. So here is my question. How much money does Daniel Radcliffe owe somebody? All right. Because I thought he got paid pretty good for all the Harry Potter movies. But from what I can tell, looking at his IMDb, he has just said yes to everything. I didn't know that he was Bruce Willis poor. All right? Or Nicolas Cage poor. But evidently he must be. Because all the movies that he's got coming out after this one and before this one, he's trying to be an action star. Escape from Pretoria, Lost City of D, Beast of Burden, Swiss Army Man, where he plays a dead guy, by the way, for the whole movie. Swiss Army Man, he is dead. Victor Frankenstein, What If, horns. Horns. He has goat horns in that movie. All right? Man, if you need to crash on somebody's couch, you can come here. All right? It's not that bad. Just, I'll loan you my couch. It's okay. So, listen, Danny, you don't have to do this crap. You can pick better movies. All right? So that's what I got to ripcord this one, and that's a did not finish for me. All right, Mike.
Wow. Shaggy tapped out. Wow. All right, so let's just start by saying that every 2A nut out there that watches this movie, and by that I mean the ones who want to own all the guns, saw the Uzi in the very beginning with a drum magazine and said, I think I need that to hunt them there deer right there. So, giant bear slippers. I need them. Not really, because my dog would be afraid of them. So don't go putting that on some wish list for me, Shaq. Another movie where we got to see a GD dick? Really? You'd think they would give him at least one finger free. You know, pick his nose or something. You know, that. Nix is the babysitter. What's she doing with a rocket launcher? I'm digging the soundtrack to this movie, by the way. The first thing I did, I went to the DJ pool to see, were those songs on the record pool that I could get? Because some of the remixes I thought were awesome. Nick steals a guy's motorcycle, and safety first in a movie where they're trying to kill each other, she puts a helmet on. There's a junkyard scene that I think would be like the Rumble scene in Anchorman, if a movie scene could be on meth, the way he reacted to the girl wanting to take a selfie. Oh, you want to take a selfie with me? Okay, sure, go ahead. And he just walks away. I taught him that. I personally taught him that. That is exactly how I react in public when folks are like, oh, shit, Mike the 8-Man, can I get a selfie? Yeah, sure. You just walk away. Except for my wife. I have to say that Nix's final scene in this movie is perhaps one of the best final shots I have ever seen. Right down to, digitally speaking, right down to how they had the shockwave ahead of the flames from the explosion. It was phenomenal. Puke to Schnikes, I am not going to lie. If they did not show the fake penis during the bathroom scene, this probably would have gotten a Schnikes. Maybe call it PTSD from all those damn Adam Devine movies that we had to watch in a row where there was peni showing up in everything. Therefore, this is going to get a big old belly laugh from me. With the exception, reserving the right that if they go back and make a sequel to this, because the ending did kind of allude to a sequel, I may come back and revisit this.
All right.
So,
but Shaggy wouldn't know because he didn't get to that.
Nope.
It basically became a farcical comedy after the part where you pull the ripcord out.
Yeah. I figured that probably would happen, but better safe than sorry, as I always say. So, next up, Spencer Confidential, starring Mark Wahlberg. Or as my wife calls him, Mark Wahlburgers. All right, Colin, you're up first.
Oh. Okay, so first off, I want to say this is not... I'm not going to not grade this movie, but I will say that this is basically a movie, okay? This is not in our usual genre of bad movies. This is in the genre of actual movie that probably would have been in movie theaters if it wasn't for the fact of, COVID. That being said, it's a movie about a cop who got in trouble, went to prison, got out of prison, found out that there were some conspiracies going on between people he knew, and it's played by Mark Wahlberg, and the cast is good. There's nothing bad about this movie other than if you want the genre of movie, there is a short-lived TV series called Life that I highly recommend you watch instead. But I don't know. It's standard. It's standard. Slightly actiony, dramatic Boston police movie. I mean, just like every other one of the other ones like it, which is great, especially if you're in a mood for that type of movie. I want to give this a smile.
All right. Smile from Colin. All right. So this one I did watch with the wife. She fell asleep about halfway through it. The biggest question she had is, who is that guy? That guy. That guy. The old guy. The boxing old guy. Alan Arkin. And then she kept asking me, what did they say? I didn't understand that. What did they say? It's because she doesn't speak Southie. All right. She hasn't heard enough Southie to get it all the time. But for me, it was a pretty enjoyable movie. I like the idea of, cop who went to prison, who then got out, and wasn't on a revenge kick, was going to get out, and then suddenly gets drawn into this, and feels the need to right the wrongs and to look out for the little guy. And I really did enjoy Mark Maron, as the reporter. That was good. And Winston Duke played that shy, that kind of reserved, silent, tough guy in this. And there was a scene which, if you watch the preview, you'll see the scene where Mark Wahlberg and Winston Duke are sitting at a table going between guns, and Winston Duke, whose name is Hawk in the movie, takes the sawed-off shotgun, and Mark Wahlberg's character Spencer goes, "No, you don't get the cool gun." He goes, "Listen, my name is Hawk. I get the cool gun. Your name is Spencer. You do taxes." And that's one of the funniest lines in a whole damn movie. And if I ever have an opportunity to use something similar, I'm going to do it, because that is just great. All right. There's some funny stuff throughout the entire movie. There's just little sprinkles of it, though. So it's not like a Lethal Weapon comedy action. This is an action comedy. So, like when you hear the testimony of Mark Wahlberg's character, when the judge says, "How do you plead?" and he says, "Guilty," and then he says, "Do you have anything to add before I sentence you?" and he goes, "The guy deserved it." It's little things like that really help. Post Malone is in this movie, so if you're interested in Post Malone at all, he does have a few little cameos in here. But it's an interesting movie with, I think, some pretty good acting in it, and they did leave a little bit of room for a sequel. And since this was based on a set of books, who knows whether they actually will do a follow-up or not, but the opportunity's there should they want to. Like I said, I think it's definitely an interesting film, and especially if you like that Boston Irish police force type vibe to it, then I think you'll really enjoy this movie. I'm going to give this a grin, which is a step above smile, and go from there. So, Mike, you're up next.
I thought grin was right below.
Maybe
smile.
It's an S-eating grin?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that one.
Okay. Look, I'm not going to lie. I have been avoiding this movie since it came out, mainly because I'm sick of Mark Wahlberg. Post Malone, for those who didn't know, that's who he was talking to in the library in the opening scene. Have you ever looked at somebody in a movie or on a TV show and you could smell them? I could smell Post Malone through the screen. And it's a mixture of patchouli and old gym socks. These guys ain't got no Amazon machete, that's for sure. I think I need to upgrade my machete game, because these guys are walking around here with some serious machetes happening. Wait, they might actually be swords. Okay. So, best line of the movie when he starts talking about when he goes to try and get security footage, and like, no, there's no tape. It's in the cloud. What the F is the cloud, man? That whole conversation, I have to admit, I started laughing hysterically about that one, because trying to explain what the cloud is to someone, listen, the cloud is just another computer somewhere. That's this guy Hawk is my new spirit animal. Okay, he was all blah 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 whatever. He killed the cat. Dude went ballistic on the guy's car because when he found out that the guy killed the cat. My new spirit animal right there. I'm going to go with the machete game again. And at the end of this one blatantly set up to be a sequel. So I'm going to give this one a smile, because it was fun to watch. There were quite a few. There was one small thing that I didn't like. So at the end, and here, kind of spoiler alert, at the end there, he shows up at the racetrack in the tractor trailer. But they never show him, like, Colleen Camp is never seen again after that initial scene. So did he steal it? Did she know he took it? Did he like pass the test and convinced her that he should? Did he bang her in the bathroom to get the keys? I mean, we don't know how he got the truck, and they made it a huge plot point, or they made a couple of scenes about it. About you got to earn the right to drive Black Betty. So I'm a little disappointed about that, but so I'm giving it a smile. But if they make this a sequel, I am bumping it down to a smirk. Because this is not allowed to become a series on Netflix for the fun-sized white rock. Okay?
Fun-sized white rock. I like it.
I just want to reiterate.
If The Rock and Vince Vaughn had a baby, because Vince Vaughn is pretty much the same character in every movie. Like, his acting method, there is no method. He's just himself, and that's it. In every movie. That's Mark Wahlberg. In every movie, he's just Mark Wahlberg. Okay? There's nothing different. He's just the same guy in different clothes. But, sorry, Colin.
No, I was going to reiterate. So the TV series I was referring to was Life. It was from 2007 to 2009. There's 2 seasons. It was on NBC, and unlike almost every other series that's ever been on U.S. network television, they actually pretty much finished their story at the end of season 2. Stars Damian Lewis, and so if you have any interest in this genre of cop goes to jail and gets out of jail and reintegrates, definitely try to find Life. It's a good show.
So what's interesting is, Mike, we both talked about how they it was queued up for a sequel. Well, turns out that author, this is built on a line of detective novels, that there's 40 novels in the series. And it was the basis for Spencer for Hire, the TV show.
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
Oh, I almost forgot. So in Life, the Alan Arkin part from this movie was done by Adam Arkin, Alan Arkin's son. So there's actually... Maybe that's the reason why I put the two together, because they remind me of each other.
So, all right. Well, it's time.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I was thinking the name Spencer seemed like it was a connection there. So
yeah,
that's nice to know.
All right, time to pick for next show. Mike, what are we up to?
Where are we at? Hold on. We're only at 19.
All right.
Yeah, I forgot to put more in.
9.
See, 9 is unavailable. That is Operation Endgame.
Okay, how about 19?
This could be scary.
Uh-oh.
No, maybe not. What the? Hold on. Let me make sure. Okay, so I just want to make sure that this is not subtitled or dubbed.
Okay. What movie is it?
The Paper Tigers.
The Paper Tigers.
Oh, no, I don't think it is. I think I watched the trailer, and it is not.
Okay, no, it is. We're good. Okay, hold on. Let me copy it over. Where'd it go?
So that is a comedy action film. 3 guys who were students of a martial arts teacher as children, and then who, as adults, have to basically avenge the teacher.
All right, let me put this over here. All right, and go ahead.
12.
12. I'm so not gonna. Nope, unavailable. Thank God.
14.
It's a YouTube movie. Dead or Alive, chick fight game, B grade Mortal Kombat. Okay, this one you got to find it for me.
Okay.
The Last Witch Hunter.
Oh, yeah. So this is Vin Diesel.
This is a real movie.
Yeah, it is. It's a good movie. It
is not on Netflix.
Oh, where else is it? It's free on Peacock, but I don't know where else we might be able to find it.
So, well, I have Peacock, so I'm game if you guys are.
I have Peacock as well.
I believe I have Peacock, so I will have to find
Okay.
it. If not, I will find it another way. So, yep, that's good for me. The Last Witch Hunter. This is a Vin Diesel, 2000.
Not the current TV series.
No, this is a 2015 American fantasy action film where Vin Diesel is an immortal witch hunter who must stop a plague from ravaging the entire world.
I think I've seen this before.
Received generally unfavorable reviews from critics. But we're not your average critic. So, you never know what we're going to give it. We could give it a Schneikes across the board. Could. Probably won't. But we could. And that is what matters. All right. So, with that said, where the hell is it at? I don't see it. There it is. So with that said, folks, you've been listening to PTR Radio on the fabulous interweb. I want to thank every one of you for tuning in, downloading, listening to the show, telling all your friends about it. Don't forget you can check out PTR Radio on your favorite social media at PTR Radio, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch as well. We want to hear from everybody that's been listening to us. Please just drop us a line. Let us know that you subscribed, that you check out every show. Let us know what you think. If there's ways that we can improve, if there's ways that we can make things worse, just let us know. We're always up for listening to you. Drop us a line, either show at ptrradio.com or any of our social media channels is fine too. We will be back in 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks, so we will be back on the... No, we won't. We're going to have to figure out the next schedule for the show because I am not going to be here on the 11th. So we'll figure out when
you have plans for Indigenous Peoples Day?
Well, actually, Mike, nope, we could. I'm not going to be here then. I suppose... Nope, I couldn't even do it. I would say we could do a live show on the 18th from your house, but I don't think I'll be there then. We will. There might be something. I don't know if you're going to be around the week of the 17th or not.
Yes.
All right, so there may be a special episode or something the week of the 17th. Who knows? We'll have to see.
Hell, if you were going to be here the following Sunday, which is the 24th, I could have had you guest MC my first live event in, I can't tell you how long. I'm calling numbers at a bingo.
Oh, no, I'm going to be home in bed on the 24th. That is my goal for the 24th. It's to be done with my travels and be home and in bed. But anyway, so we'll let you know via social media when our next show is going to be, so that you can tune in and listen along. So with that said, folks, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the Ape Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.